This presentation is about unemployment, its causes, measurements, and effects. Unemployment in an economy can be either expressed just as a pure number. For example, in the UK at the moment, it is roughly about 1.96 million workers, or it can be expressed as a percentage of the workforce who do not have a job. In the UK, it's about 5% at the moment. The workforce is defined as any members of the population who are above 16 and under 65, not in full-time education, not disabled, and willing to work at the market wage rates. The workforce can be seen as a combination of employed workers and unemployed workers, and there is a constant dynamic flow between these two sections of the workforce, the employed part and the unemployed part. At the moment, 95% roughly of the UK workforce are employed and 5% are unemployed. The total size of the workforce is also influenced by people leaving the workforce, for example, so-called discouraged workers who have been unemployed for a very long time and lose hope of ever finding a job and therefore declare themselves unwilling to work. And also by new joiners to the workforce, such as people leaving school at the age of 16 or 18, university graduates, and recently in the UK, women, who have, in larger numbers, joined the workforce and declared themselves willing to work. Of course, these new joiners can either join the employed part of the workforce or they can join the unemployed part of the workforce, depending on whether they're successful in getting a job as soon as they declare themselves willing to work. Unemployment is seen as a negative in the economy for several reasons. First of all, it represents lost output, because an unemployed worker is not productive. But even more seriously, there are serious social costs of unemployment, including crime, the breakup of relationships, and generally the psychological suffering that comes from having a low income and also feeling excluded from society. The causes of unemployment are roughly four in nature, in category. First of all, there's so-called cyclical unemployment. This is a function of the economic cycle and is due to the fact that sometimes the economy is operating below its potential output, which means that not all of the available factors of production, including labor, are being used. And this means that there is some unemployed members of the workforce. This is cyclical unemployment. Structural unemployment refers to the skills of the workforce compared to the skills that are actually needed by the economy. Some members of the workforce do not have the correct skills and are therefore unemployed either temporarily or for a long period of time. Then there is so-called frictional unemployment. This refers to the time lag between a person leaving a job and finding a new job due to problems in the labor market. For example, the lack of information about where jobs are vacant, or indeed relocation costs, which prevent workers who are unemployed moving geographically to another part of the country where there are jobs available. These are all frictions in the labor market, and we call this frictional unemployment. Another interesting cause of unemployment is an increase in the participation rate. We have already said that women are increasingly entering the workforce in the UK, and have been for several decades now. They do not always succeed in finding jobs, even though they are members of the workforce, for various reasons. So whenever a group in society, such as women, participate in the workforce in greater numbers, this may lead to a rise in the numbers of workers who are unemployed, because the new participants to the workforce, the new people entering the workforce, do not always find a job immediately. So these are the four major causes of unemployment: cyclical, structural, frictional, and causes to do with an increase in the participation rate by some groups. There are several policies used by the authorities to attack unemployment and to reduce it. Any policy that leads to economic growth will have a positive effect on unemployment. It will reduce unemployment to some degree. And the type of unemployment it's really attacking is cyclical unemployment. By reducing the output gap between the actual output of the economy and its potential output, cyclical unemployment is reduced. In addition, any supply-side policies, such as spending money on education and training, will help with structural unemployment. It will help to reduce structural unemployment. If the government or other authority provides workers with information or gives them financial help to relocate to a part of the country where there are jobs, this will tackle frictional unemployment. And some would say that another way of tackling unemployment would also be to reduce unemployment benefits and give the unemployed workers an extra incentive or motivation to accept a job which is offered to them. Unemployment is unfortunately a permanent feature of a market economy. It represents, or is an effect, is a consequence, is a result of one of the basic features of market economy, which is an instability and a constant state of change. So economies are always going through change. New products are being invented. The structure of the economy is changing. And at any one time, a group of workers will find themselves in a position where their skills do not match the requirements of the economy. So unemployment is really a permanent feature. It's a feature of any market economy, and it reflects the change that economies are always going through over time. There are also several interesting global trends affecting unemployment, especially in developed countries. Globalization refers to the increasing level to which economies are connected together or integrated. And globalization has led to low-skilled, low-wage jobs migrating or moving to low-wage economies, such as China and India. This has meant that low-skilled workers in developed countries, such as the UK, have suffered particularly high levels of unemployment. And this is a global trend which has affected unemployment in the UK and other developed economies. In addition, economic shocks also have an effect on unemployment. The financial crisis of 2007-2008 led to a fairly deep recession, which increased unemployment for cyclical reasons. But this unemployment was especially serious among young people who have the least skills and the least experience. This shows that economic shocks do play a part in causing unemployment, especially among certain groups. The take-home message of this presentation is that unemployment is not one problem, but many. The labour market is split up into many different segments or groups, and some groups of workers will be more affected by unemployment than others. In addition, there are many causes of unemployment, and so it is not possible to tackle unemployment just using one policy, but many policies have to be used to attack the various types of unemployment that exist in the economy.